Hello, my name's Paul Neighbour, and this is just a quick recap of the components in the PMP. And it's one of the areas that people sometimes struggle with, is to understand the different parts of the PMP. So really, from my mind, there's three main components of the PMP. The first part is an exec summary. The second part is a set of policies and procedures that guide the way in which we deliver the project, the processes we use to deliver the project. And the set is a set of plans that set out how we're going to manage the project in terms of the work we're going to do and how we're going to keep track of risks and progress and things like that. So let's go through those in a little bit more detail. So at the top level, we usually have some form of executive summary, and this builds on what we had in the business case, and it sort of sets out the purpose of the project, why we're doing it, the assumptions, the constraints, the organisation, the contracting approach that we're adopting for the project. So it's not a big document. It's usually quite concise and is designed for new team members or senior management to sort of quickly assimilate what we're trying to do with the project. The second part is quite often a set of references, but it sets out the how we're going to control risk management in terms of the process that we're going to follow. So where are we going to store the risk register? Who's going to fill it in? How often are we going to update it? What categories are we going to use to control risk? What are the steps in the change control process? Where do we keep change control procedures? What's the form look like? Who fills them in? Who do they get approved by? And things like configuration. So what system were we using for configuration management? What the naming convention for files that we use, and what version number and what issue process we got for new documents. So these quite often come from the method. So quite often in many organisations, they'll have like a common method that they use to develop these. So and these will be used across multiple projects, because clearly you want like one document control system in your organisation. You don't want each project management team going off and developing their own document control and configuration management system. So these are quite generic and they're quite stable, so if your configuration management system works, then you'll continue to use it and you won't change it. Whereas on this side, we have like schedules and logs. So these are part of the project control cycle. So these guide us through the execution of the project. And it includes things like the Gantt chart. So this is the planned work that we're going to do over a certain amount of time. And we'll plan it out at the beginning, and then depending on the project, we'll go back and update this with actual progress and compare it with our plans. Same for the budget. We'll have an initial budget, and then we'll do a forecast budget, and we'll say what's our cost curve doing, and this is how much we've spent to date, and therefore we're ahead or behind the budget. So these are live documents. Like the change log will be the list of changes that have been agreed, usually in Excel or some database, and that change log will get updated as new changes happen. Same with the risk register. It's not a static document. Something gets updated as the project progresses. So schedules and plans are a bit like the roadmap that we're going to follow for the journey, and get updated to make sure that we're still on track. So quite often these if you look at a real PMP, the exec summary is probably the most significant part. These are probably often references, so it'll say we're following our company document control system, we're following our company procurement approach, information is stored in a particular way in this organisation, so we're following that process and procedure. And then these things will be often stored in Excel spreadsheets or planning systems or risk control systems. So quite often this data is stored in live databases that gets updated. So if you can think of the PMP, it's more like a container than a printed document. I mean, some people will print all the PMP out, but quite often it's a collection of information that sets out our plan for the delivery of the project. So I hope that helps, and I'll speak to you soon.